Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiret. Четем от Шримад Бхагаватам 11 песен, 14 текст, 14 глава, 16 текст. Нирапекшам муним шантам, нирвайрам самадаршанам, анувраджамяхам нитям, пугеетям гриренубхи. Нирапекшам, без лично желание, муним, винаги мислейки за подпомагането ми в моите забавления, шантам, умиротворени, нирвайрам, не са злонамерени към никого, сама даршанам, с еднакво съзнание навсякъде, ануварджами следват ахам, аз нитям винаги поея, аз мога да бъда пречистен или аз ще пречистя Вселената с мен. И ти така, ангри, на лотсовите нозе, ренуби от праха. Превод. С праха от лотсовите нозе на моите предани. Аз желая да пречистя материалните светове, които се намират в мен. Така, аз винаги следвам стъпките на моите чисти предани, които са освободени от лично желание, изпълнени са с мисли за моите забавления, умиротворени са, нямат никакво чувство на враждебност и са еднакво благоразположени към навсякъде. Пояснение. Също както преданите винаги следват стъпките на Бог Кришна, така и Бог Кришна, който е предан на своите предани, следва стъпките на неговите предани. Един чист слуга на Бога винаги медитира върху забавленията на Бога и мисли как да помага на Бога в неговата мисия. Всички материални вселени се намират в тялото на Кришна, както е демонстрирано от Арджуна, майка Ешода и други. Бог Кришна е върховната божествена личност и затова не може да става дума за нечистота или замърсяване в Бога. И въпреки това, Богът желае да пречисти Вселената, намираща се в Него, като приеме праха от лотсовите нозе на Него, своите чисти предани. Без праха на лотсовите нозе на преданите не е възможно извършването на чисто предано служене, без което човек не може директно да изпита трансцендентално блаженство. Бог Кришна мисли: аз установих стриктното правило, че човек може да се наслаждава на моето трансцендентално блаженство само чрез предано служене, получено посредством праха от лотсовите нозе на моите предани. Тъй като аз желая да изпитам собственото си блаженство, аз ще следвам стандартната процедура и ще приема праха от лотсовите нозе на моите предани. Шрила Мадхвачаря изтъква, че Бог Кришна следва стъпките на неговите предани, за да ги пречисти. Както Богът върви след своите чисти предани, вятърът духа праха от нозете на преданите на Бога в различни пред неговите предани, които тогава се пречистват от контакта на такъв трансцендентален прах. Човек не трябва глупаво да гледа от материална логика на тези трансцендентални забавления на Бога. Това е просто въпрос на любов между Бога и неговите предани. Any comments so far? Maybe we should say something about this verse because it's important before we move on. Did you understand what Madhvacharya is saying? That Krishna follows the footsteps in order to purify them. As the Lord walks along behind, the wind blows the dust of the devotees' the Lord's lotus feet in front of his devotees. How is it possible?
In certain direction.
No. The Lord walks behind, and the wind blows. Okay, it blows in that direction in front of his devotees, who become purified by the contact of this transcendental dust.
Which somehow they don't notice it's going on. They think, this is wrong.
Isn't that just an example, like for us? We have to be behind the devotees to
Get the dust. Okay. Yeah, this was the point here. Krishna, because in previous verses he already established that you can experience my bliss, of my nature, the bliss of my nature, only by bhakti, by transcendental devotional service. And now he says the only way to do that is to follow, to get the dust of my devotees. And now the purpose is Krishna follows his own procedure, standard procedure. So if that's the only way to experience bliss, transcendental bliss, I have to follow. Yeah, there is one section in Chaitanya Bhagavat where it says that Lord Chaitanya wanted to show this and emphasize. He literally did it on the way when they were traveling to Gaya. He got very sick. and he said, I can only be cured if you get the dust of devotees, of Brahmanas. So when they bring him broken dust, and then he got. Actually, it was water. I think water from the Abhishek, even water, not just the dust. Then he got cured. So Vrindavan Das Thakur explains that this was the purpose of the Lord, to establish this highest principle, that the dust of the devotees is very important. Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many verses which emphasize that. So this one is spoken personally by Krishna. Otherwise, who says that? Any examples? Prahlad Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, who else? Narada Muni, who directly state that. Padangri, the Renu means dust. Also, I think Rishabhadev. Okay, something else? So here it's interesting, the word Muni is usually somebody who thinks a lot, deep thinking. And here it's translated as always thinking of pastimes, or how to assist in the pastimes. Considering how to assist the Lord in his mission. That's real thinking, Muni. So assisting, that's logic could be to assist in the mission, we must be thinking deeply, right?
Jeez, you're asking too much already.
Sure. Yeah, Prabhupada uses that expression, right? Tax your brains. We have to be taxing our brains. How to assist in the mission. which Lord Chaitanya gave it also very specifically, explicitly. He says, Hare Hare Krishna Upadesh, Amara Yai Guru. This was told to Kurma Brahmana, but the next verse of Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says that Lord Chaitanya said it to everyone wherever he was traveling. So wherever you go, Hare Hare Ka. So tell about Krishna Upadesh, instructions about Krishna. And in this way you become a teacher, a guru in your area. Eitaridesh. This was because this Brahmana, the Kurma Brahmana, wanted to live with the Lord. I'm coming with you. You can imagine Lord Chaitanya comes, stays a little bit, if he comes here, and then he leaves. But when we become completely captivated, and then we say, we leave Amona, we leave Bulgaria. We're going after you. He said, no need. You just stay here and teach others Krishna Upadesh and give them instruction about Krishna. And in this way, he says, you become teacher. And the next one says, in this way, you will be always with me. This is the way to become, close, or to be associating with Lord Chaitanya. So that requires also thinking how to, speak Krishna Upadesh about Krishna, so that people can take it. And that requires, as Prabhupada says, some intelligence also, because he was looking at Burjan Prabhu writes in his accounts about Prabhupada. Prabhupada in different places, but in one particular, in one class, said there are essential principles and the details. So principles should never change, but the details could be changed. Like he, of course, did when he brought Krishna consciousness in the West, and then he adjusted certain details, external details. For example, like allowing men and women to live in one building, in a temple, which was never done before. So, but this is the detail. As Prabhupada says, it's the culture here. Nobody is trained to, like boys and girls, they mix all the time. So we allow that, of course, in strict principles, but we allow them to serve together. So this is a detail, although he was criticized, but the essential principle remained. But after this class, Burjan Prabhu remembers, he asked Prabhupada, how can we understand what is principle, what is a detail? Because this you can use, say, well, this we can adjust. It's a detail. Somebody says, no, this is the most important principle. And Prabhupada says, just answer it. This requires some intelligence. Yeah, muy. And nirapeksha means no personal desire, no desire. Nirapeksha. Shanta is the standard qualities of devotees. Peaceful, without material desires. And nirvaira means not enemy. They don't have enemies, or they are not inimical to anyone. Samadarshanam, see everyone equally. Okay, let's see the next verse. Nishkinchana mayanu nurakta chetasa shanta mahanto kila jiva vatsala kamayana nalabdhadiyo jushanti te yan nairapeksham navidu sukham mama. Nishkinchana. What was the meaning of Nishkinchana?
Bliss.
Without anything. Means with best desire. без желание за стил наслаждение. Май в мен, върховния Бог. Ануракта четаса. Ум постоянно привързан. Шанта, умиротворен. Маханта, великите души без фалшиво его. Акила на всички. Джива, живи същества. Ватсала, обичащи доброжелатели. Камай, от възможностите за стилно наслаждение. Аналабда, недокоснати и незасегнати. Дия, чието съзнание, джушанти. Изпитете яд, което наирапекшам, постигнато само чрез пълна непривързаност. Навидо, те не знаят. Сукам, щастие, мама мое. Превод. Тези, които нямат желание за лично наслаждение, чието умове са винаги привързани към мен, които са умиротворени, без фалшиво его и милостиви към всички същества, и чието съзнание никога не е засегнато от възможностите за стилно наслаждение. Такива личности се наслаждават в мен на щастие, което не е познато или постигнато от тези, които нямат такава непривързаност към материалния свят. Пояснение. Чистите предани винаги изпитват трансцендентално блаженство в тяхното служение към Шри Кришна, вместилището на удоволствие. Така те са напълно непривързани от материалното удоволствие и не желаят дори освобождение, тъй като всички други имат някакво лично желание, те не могат да изпитат такова щастие. Чистите предани винаги желаят да дадат Кришна съзнание, щастието от Кришна съзнание на всички други. И затова те са наречени маханти или велики души. В течение на служенето на преданите възникват много възможности за стилно наслаждение. Един чист предан не е привлечен от това и не пропада от своята възвишена трансцендентална позиция. Okay. Which is the quality Krishna repeats here from the previous verse. Okay. And what else? Shanta. Peaceful. So, why devotees are peaceful?
Because they're not attached to material.
Okay. But you may be detached, but still not peaceful. You may not be attached to the material, but you may desire spiritual. You may have your personal goal, liberation. That's the standard of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. What he says, Bhukti Mukti Kami, Siddhi Kami. Those who have desire of bhukti, of enjoyment, material enjoyment, or siddhi, some yoga perfection, or mukti, liberation, they are not shanta, they are not peaceful because they have some selfish desire. Only pure devotees who have no desire at all, anything for themselves. They do have desires, but not personal. They are not concerned with liberation. They just want to please Krishna. So therefore they are completely shanta, peaceful.
Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, without peaceful devotion.
Without peace you cannot be happy. That's a general point where he says. But here peacefulness is connected with desire, or personal desire. So when you don't have egoistic desires, it's just Krishna's desire. That's the point. So there is nothing to disturb. You're not in anxiety, or am I getting there? Am I becoming perfect? Whatever in my endeavors to arrange some material profit, or to become detached. And attain liberation or become perfect in yoga. You're not concerned.
No ADD, no depression.
Now the question is, if devotees who are on the path, they are not peaceful, what it means? That means they have also some other desires. Their bhakti is mishra, it's mixed. They have something either material or desire for liberation to get rid of suffering. That's why until we become to the point of completely pure, we will experience something which is not peacefulness complete. And anurakta chetasa, that's anurakta means with with affection, attachment with affection, anurakta. So the mind's always attached to me, Krishna says. And also towards other living entities, they feel vatsala, also affection, but like a well-wisher, like a parent. The parents always have well-wisher of the children. And Krishna is called vatsala, bhakta vatsala, always well-wishing of the devotees. So these qualities. And this is also very important, analabdha. But kamai analabdha, unattached and unaffected, untouched, analabdha. So in the purport it was said there are many opportunities in the course of service, even for the devotees. Opportunities come for some personal enjoyment. But pure devotee, analabdha, not affected. If we're not that pure, we become distracted by these opportunities. Oh, there is something here. It can be very subtle, right? What kind of subtle enjoyments could be? We can enjoy being praised, huh? Desire to be someone, to be praised, how humble we are. We can enjoy that also. Oh, you're such a humble devotee. Yes. Exactly.
Also, you can meditate in your mind in different material objects. You can experience some kind of enjoyment.
Subtle.
It's not only to interact with the material objects. Even in the mind, you're involved in that. It's the same.
Yeah, this is a sign of this is while we are still in anartha nivritti, means there are some anarthas, and that means we can become distracted because we're still impure, and when these opportunities come, then we we're touched, affected by that. So it's very easy to, Prabhupada says, we don't need an external test how advanced we are. We just have to see, Yeah.
The mind start to speculate, to make some imagination.
So no, not touched, not affected. That's the high standard. Actually, it's not just not touched. There is some. If we say not affected, means like there's no response. Well, here is an opportunity, but there is no response. That's one way of saying not touched. But actually, there is a response. What is that? The response? If we look at Yamunacharya's verse and some others like Prabodhananda Saraswati. That was a sound of preparing to speak. Yes.
That's their response. Our
Yeah.
response is different.
we should imitate. Well, actually, it's the verse exactly says that the mouth becomes twisted and desires to spit on the thought. And also, that's a verse by Prabodhananda Saraswati who says devotees of Lord Chaitanya, gives also certain characteristics. And one is that just by the thought of Vishaya, of sense gratification, becomes disgusted. Disgusted. Which is also, what was the Sanskrit word? Tut, something like that. Yeah, it was like, it's a word which comes like the Bengali word, Habudubu Bhai, or brothers, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when we are tossed by the material waves of material energy, then we are up and down and up and under, and then we start to we just start to drown in the ocean of material. So then the sound of that, of a drowning man is so I forgot that there is a term in English and Bulgarian also, words which are coming from the sound, like a cuckoo. The bird cuckoo is like cuckoo. That's such a bird. So habudu is the bird. So that's toot toot. It's like toot toot. Prabodhananda Saraswati.
But it sets up a challenge for us to be untouched and unaffected. But simultaneously, it all sets up a challenge to the devotees, because if I want to be untouched and affected by what's going on in me, but simultaneously be affected and touched by the sufferings of others, there's usually a period where I'm working on becoming untouched and affected by my material desires. I end up untouched and affected by other people, because the way I'm processing my own struggles and tension and sufferings with what's going on in my own heart and mind, usually then I'm not able to also be actually touched by the people's suffering, which the verse is saying you have to be.
That's Vatsala.
So it's definitely for us at this point, there's working on that. We're usually not so, and to do it, we have to do it. We have to kind of to protect ourselves from our own lower nature. We end up usually not being so good at helping other people, reaching out to others and helping them assist. Later on, for sure, we should be. But the initial struggle with tightening the belt or stiffening that when we're not distracted or disturbed, usually means we're also a little cold to other people's sufferings too.
This is a really good point. But this is a sign of also immaturity in devotion, because of fear to become affected by Vishaya or Kama. Here is Kamaya Analabdha, not untouched by material desire or opportunities for enjoyment. And then out of fear, I should be really careful, which is initially a good point. But then what do you do to become detached? You have to practice detachment. Usually that means some austerities. So you really cut. And then what happens? If that's the goal, by itself, it's somehow this is the vairagya becomes a goal. I have to become detached because because karma means suffering at the end if I pursue it. So Rupa Goswami says the heart becomes hardened by austerities. So therefore, devotees are not after jnana and vairagya by themselves. They come as a result of bhakti, but why? There is this detachment or ability to become unaffected. It's because of anurakta cetasa, because of affection towards Krishna. And then because this affection, when it develops, then the heart softens. And when it's, in the higher stages, Rupa Goswami says there are different levels of softness of heart. So some become very soft when there is stimulus, either from Krishna or something connected with Krishna, then heart becomes very soft, and then there are symptoms of this, different types of emotions and external symptoms in the body. But some hearts are always melted, he says. These greatest devotees, their hearts are always melted. And then they are the greatest well-wishers. They always feel compassion towards our living entities. And then there's no this dichotomy. They are completely unaffected by material desires, but not in the negative way because of fear. I have to avoid this, but because they are completely in love with Krishna, therefore they just not register any material opportunities or something. And because they love Krishna, they love all his parts and parcels, they feel affection and well wishers.
Again, that's very nice, but it's also whoa. It's also whoa. Again, particularly as young devotees, and particularly as brahmacharis, that's why everyone should be married. Everyone should get married, because when we become exposed to our material desires, we want to kick them out. But the reality is, we do have to touch them, admitting that they're part of me. Because if I want to become untouched by my emotional needs, then when somebody else comes in front of me with their emotional needs, I'll also be untouched. But the fact is, everybody has got huge needs to be recognized and to have their emotional side validated and expressed. But again, the classical enunciate is that he's determined to be untouched by his emotional needs, so therefore he ends up being untouched by anybody's emotional needs, and that's a real reality from the enunciate. Shouldn't be the case. It's not the healthy case, but it is a real risk that runs in the enunciate ashram, that you're determined to be untouched by your. So therefore, you're not touched by anybody's, and everybody has. Especially when you deal with devotees, it's just, oh my God, everyone's got huge emotional needs that need to be addressed and acknowledged. Huge, endless.
We experience here also. We experience here also.
Everywhere. But if in the neophyte mentality we remain determined to be untouched, then so there's a certain how to reach out and touch our material needs, our emotional needs, obviously in the dharmic way, in the way of the ashrams and expressing it. So that's why most people should get married, because that's the way you touch them, you touch them, but in a way that, oh my God, I didn't realize I had more more needs for somebody else to express they like me, than just the idea that Krishna's walking behind me. Krishna's walking behind me. I don't need anybody.
I can smell the dust.
Yeah, it's true. That's one of my favorite devotees. Most of the devotees are true, but it's just not realistic for them. It's just not where we are at. That's our biggest problem. It's true. honest.
Yeah, that's an important point, to be honest.
Honest,
realistic.
In our I have this in our preaching, we reach out people say, chant and be happy. But when you join,
Chant and suffer it. I quote him.
okay, there's a few ways. That ad suddenly goes.
Stretches. Where is that happening?
There's a lot in that ad. It's a real Vedanta Sutra. There's a lot to be unpacked in that ad.
That's it.
There's years or lifetimes of anatomy. But another variation is to preach and be happy, and as devotees is chant and be honest. Chant and be honest, because you struggle with that. I'm happy. That's what I came.
I'm happy.
Can't you see? Chant to be honest. I think we have to preach that a little more.
Yeah.
Tough thing to face.
Gradually. You cannot jump directly into the first problem.
Yeah, that's the danger in that ashram. You can, with the goal of, getting rid of this desires and needs, you kind of you can have a strategy. I have to really be careful, but not just careful. I have to hate this, right? Negative. And then you just not hate the needs and the desires, to start to hate anything connected, the external reasons for these desires to appear. So you hate the objects, and then becomes this problem.
Dangerous spiral down very unattractive.
Yeah. You become sour, like a lemon, and hard, like a stone. And then we are examples of that to a certain extent, but always dissatisfied because of this mood of fighting, struggling. Yeah, that's the reality. But your point was, so therefore everyone should normally, that should be the standard to experience that, so that you can have also this type of false ego and egoistic, which is a type of what we say, it's a type of karma in a different way. It's a personal desire for liberation. Even in devotional service, you can have it, in these stages. So therefore, you push everything, but then you can become really selfish and proud. This was the conclusion of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya when he was talking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was not praising so much the renunciate order, because it can, and he says, usually the first thing what happens is someone who takes sannyas and becomes, takes the renounced order, becomes proud. And even if he offers respect to others, it's hypocritical. It's just external.
Some Ravindranath Swarupi was asked by his godbrothers, Prabhu, why don't you take sannyas? I said, yeah, I was thinking of staying renounced.
I'm staying renounced. Better to remain renounced. Yeah, I mean, this is it's not really a joke. That's what our acharyas after Mahaprabhu, mostly, actually all of them, maybe a few exceptions like Prabodhananda Saraswati, Swarup Damodar from his associates were sannyasi like Mahaprabhu. They wore saffron, but everyone else, no saffron. that was the point of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. When one takes the red cloth, becomes really proud. So Sanatana Goswami in Hare Bhakti Vilas, he gives evidence that the devotees don't take the red cloth just because of that. They want to stay humble and renounced. That's why they just have, just one kopina or some simple cloth. So no ashram, no outside of Varnashram, no respect. Of course, they were respected also as renunciates, but no external symptoms or signs. Yeah. So what to do? Chant and we'll see.
There's definitely what is the Sanskrit? There's a line over the A. It's a long.
It's a long line.
And the line over that A and that's
It's a stretch.
It's a long and. Yeah.
But Prabhupada, when he speaks about it, he makes it so simple. He says one should be happy in Krishna consciousness. If you're not happy, you means you're in Maya. There's a whole class only. He repeats again and again. If you're not happy, you're in Maya.
For sure.
For sure. I mean, there's also one correspondence with one of his first disciples. If you trace it and read all the exchanges, in the years, it seems this devotee was suffering from, struggling with material desires and basically unhappiness. We might not say depression, and Prabhupada was like encouraging always, but it seemed like Prabhupada was very surprised how I think in one letter he says, I don't understand why you're not happy. But he was always encouraging, he was like, Prabhupada, I am struggling with my last, yes, you should get married. And then he tried, but then it didn't work. I mean, later on it became clear that he couldn't actually work with ladies. He had attraction for other gender anyway, but it didn't work. And Prabhupada says, I'm renouncing. Prabhupada, I will chant now 64 rounds. Prabhupada, yeah, very nice. This is our goal. We want to just chant. And then again, dissatisfaction of Prabhupada, I want to go to Australia. Yes, do it. That's great. Open up. Always encouraging. And engage. I mean, this devotee did really. Yeah. But I was impressed how Prabhupada was. He was like, I don't know what to say. I can tell you only follow the path, and you will be happy. But Prabhupada realized also we're so conditioned, and
that's as much as we all like to quote, also refer to Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj, but it's a particularly big distinction between them. Prabhupada just repeating the spiritual master, but that sense of cutting, sharp, analytical, and extra analytical approach that Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj was unique. Prabhupada didn't do that. He just encouraged. He kept it very simple. He just encouraged. That is a recognizable style difference or mood difference between Prabhupada and a spiritual master. Yeah. We just need so much encouragement. Especially us Western lot. We're so dedicated. We're so just encourage somebody. Anyway, endlessly.
Yeah.
So even though most of us we like to also refer on the analytical approach of getting into the Nartas and the Durika Nandini and the whole demon thing. Prabhupada didn't do it. He just hear about Krishna, chant Krishna, and do something.
Yeah.
Do something. And he just kept it just so simple. And that's what he saw. He saw us that distinct Prabhupada's shift of style when he arrived to America. It's definitely clear. He's like, oh, okay. This is what they're like. His purpose changed, his plan changed, his ideas changed. He's like, okay, you get married to you. He stopped all that because, oh my God, this doesn't work. These people, this is so simple. You just marry you and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
It didn't work. So he said, okay, I let you guys sort this one out. He just said, but just keep it, again, Prabhupada's 3 S's: be simple, be sincere, and be serious. He just kept it simple. Just do your best and be serious. Here's the process. You take shelter, you get the results. If you don't, well, what can I? So he wouldn't go over analytical about things. I simply ask you to follow, especially in his letters, you will see this. Again, the same thing. Simply follow these rules, have these 16 rounds, engage in devotion service 24 hours a day. That is the one. And Prabhupada didn't teach Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Prabhupada taught Bhava Bhakti 24 hours a day. And then what is the problem?
Yeah. What is the difficulty?
What is it?
Yeah. I wanted to say also that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, I mean, in general, when you see his answers were cutting, you know. And Prabhupada also had that, you know, so he said, I follow my Guru Maharaj. Okay. You know, the cutting technique, but that was in mostly his preaching outside. That's why he quoted this was in Japan, and you know that story. When there's some Hindu community, they were supposed to give them the devotees a whole floor of a big house or a big building, and they arranged a program where they invited some Mayavadi sannyas, and they were supposed to give both classes. And Prabhupada spoke first, and then that sannyasi spoke after, and Prabhupada just listened, and at one point told devotees, start kirtan. So they interrupted, and of course the Hindus were not so happy. So they didn't give him devotees. And Prabhupada, we could have got that temple. That's also from Guru Prabhu's book. And Prabhupada said, no, my Guru Maharaj was cutting. So that's my technique. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, yes, mostly his answers were really penetrating and kind of, but there are many letters and some stories, anecdotes where devotees explain he was also very soft, very soft. I mean, what comes to mind is that one who had a fall down, a brahmachari, and devotees were really like a kind of, how can you do whatever and he felt really ashamed and left. So he came. That was somewhere in South India. I was supposed to open a temple and install deities, Radha Krishna, Gandharva, Giridhari, and but then he noticed he didn't see that devotee. Where is he? They said, well, he had a fall down and then he left. And he said, I want to find him. Please go and find him. I'm not interested in buildings and installing deities more than, and then there and other places he says we're giving gallons of blood to save one soul from the clutches of Maya. And then if we just let it go like that, we have to try our best. So they went and they were looking, because before he was someone who worked with watches. So they went in all shops in the town and they found him and they asked him to come back. Like that. But there is one book with letters and instructions. Patra, what is that? It came out recently. A collection of answers. And then you can see also very similar to Prabhupada, actually, very encouraging, accommodating, and very soft. That's also that I just wanted to mention, especially in personal correspondence. To his Grihastha disciples, also especially very much accommodating and encouraging. But Prabhupada was really, that was, he would always welcome back anyone, whenever they did. I mean, besides like somebody who rejected him, and he rejected his guru, like there was one who became associated with some Babajis, and they were criticizing them, saying that Bhaktivedanta Saraswati didn't actually receive Diksha from Lord Kishore Das Babaji. So he was so arrogant, he wrote to Prabhupada, could you bless me to go higher, to get a higher guru? Prabhupada was not at all happy.
Bless you to go to hell.
Yeah, to not attain Krishna for many kalpas. I think that's what he said.
Bless you.
Yeah, but that's it. So, but otherwise, if you just fall down and like there was another case. He was coming back and but couldn't follow principles. It was very rough, harsh with devotees, and they were like, "You cannot stay," And that was Tamo Krishna Maharaj in one walk was telling Prabhupada, "We cannot. This devotee cannot, have has to leave." And explaining many times we tried, but just his irritable, cannot be, and cannot stay with devotees. Prabhupada just stopped, put his can. This was a sign. He's saying something really important. He just put his can in the sun. Look, you don't understand. You don't understand how merciful is Lord Nityananda. What mercy means. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.